Hey guys, it's Bear. It's Saturday, March 21st, 2015, and I'm just shy of being 5 months on testosterone. Next week will actually mark the 20-week mark, or the 5-month mark. But the video that I've been planning for next week is a little bit different. I'm kind of excited about it. I've been putting a lot of thought into it, and I didn't want to jam an update on top of it, so I'm going ahead and I'm doing that update this week. It's been 3 weeks since my last video, mostly because I wasn't feeling really well for a couple of weeks, and then, you know, like I had said previously, as far as physical changes, they've sort of plateaued. I had a really positive response to the testosterone. I'm still having a really positive response, but my system really absorbed it quickly, and my body did some really quick changes for the first couple of months, and now that's all sort of just settled. That feeling of it sort of settling, it's mildly, you know, it's a bit of a bummer, I suppose. I think just like when you introduce anything else into your system, when your system starts to tolerate it and you don't start to notice the effects, you know, you just sort of feel a little bit different, a little bit like, not down, it's not a bummer, like I said, just a little bit like less excited, you know. It's an interesting thing, you know, it's hard to actually put words on, but that's sort of the phase I'm in, and I expect that there will be those up and downs where your body explodes with changes and then where it doesn't, you know. So as far as updating any of the physical changes on T, you know, I'm still growing new body hair like crazy, new places, and then the existing body hair continues to thicken and coarsen. Still no hair on my actual chest. A little bit awkwardly, there's a lot of hair coming in around my areolas, which, you know, I'm looking to have top surgery soon, so my nipples and areolas are going to be completely reshaped. So ironically, the chest hair that I have now, I probably won't have after my surgery. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm also getting a lot more belly fur, and that treasure trail that I've talked about before is really coming in. It's completely crooked. It's coming in completely on the right side and nothing on the left. And then, you know, my voice has continued to drop. I'm really happy with where my voice is right now. And it's adapting well. And what I mean by that is that it's not wavering as much, and I'm able to raise my voice without it cracking like it was doing before. Like at work, you know, kind of calling somebody across the store, you know, or calling a drink out, that was a little unreliable before, and it would naturally pitch up into that more feminine range, and now that's stopped. When I actually raise my voice stays deep and still sounds masculine, which is really, really great. My singing range has started to even out as well. I've lost most of the very higher end of my range, but you know, again, the notes are more reliable for what I have kind of lower. So I keep trying to push it and test it and make sure it stays pretty wide. That's about it. My updates are more about what's actually going on in my life, and I'm really excited about a couple of things. Two things in particular that are moving forward, and then two things in particular that are moving forward that I'm excited about are on Wednesday the 25th, I have my legal name change court appointment. So 9:30 in the morning, I'll go over to the courthouse and talk to a judge, get some papers signed by a judge, and my name will legally be changed. So I'm super excited about that. I feel like I've been sort of in this holding pattern around that name change for the last couple of months. Right down to, you know, business cards and advertising my business. I haven't handed out business cards for the last couple months because my birth name is on there, and it's just not the name that I want to associate with anymore. And so, you know, instead of kind of crossing it out or explaining it like I had been doing with anticipating the actual legal name change. I've literally just stopped handing out business cards, and I've done more word of mouth, kind of like, hey, if you need this, you know, touch base with me here. So moving forward, I actually designed new business cards the other night. I'm really excited about getting those shipped, and I'm super excited about the actual name change date coming up. I have a whole list of stuff to follow up on, you know, immediately after getting it changed. I'll go to the DMV. At that time, I will also have a letter from my therapist stating that I identify as male and that they should change the gender marker on my ID. So Wednesday the 25th, as far as the state of Illinois is concerned, I'll have a new name and I will officially be male. So I'm really insanely excited about that. Like I said, I have a list of things to follow up on that day and in the weeks afterwards. It's a little bit of a daunting list, but it's all, you know, all makes sense, you know, your bank, your diplomas, everything else that you need, you know, massage license, you know, ton of stuff to follow up on. So, and yeah, I wanted to touch base really quickly on a question that I've been asked quite a bit about the name change. Like I said in previous videos, my name is Bear. It's been my preferred name for almost a decade. I'd say I actually got the nickname almost 10 years ago, and I've actually introduced myself that way and really gone by Bear for probably about the last 6 years. So it was the natural thing for me to use as I transitioned away from my birth name, which, like I said before, is really, really girly. So, you know, I had talked about that previously, that's my name, that will be my legal name. Having put a lot of thought into that, I decided to go ahead and add a middle name, and putting a lot of thought into that, I actually decided to make Bear my middle name. And people have asked a lot about it, you know, and where I came up with my first name. My first name is going to be Nicholas. It was my grandfather's nickname. Actually, his last name was Nichols, and everybody called him Nick. So I grew up, you know, knowing my grandfather as Nick. He died when I was really, really young, and that name always stuck with me. I always liked it. I always thought, you know, if I grow up and have sons, I'd like to name one of them Nicholas. And honestly, when, you know, when it was pointed out to me that I should have maybe a middle name, it was the first thing that came up, and it was the only thing I came back to as I was kind of making lists of names, you know, that I've always liked or whatever. Kept coming back to Nick, kept coming back to Nicholas, and so it honestly just felt right. When it was time to submit the paperwork, there was no question about it. There was no more, you know, debating it. It was Nick. So I went ahead and I filed it as my first name. Bear will be my middle name, and then obviously my last name. And a lot of people have asked about what I prefer. Honestly, I don't care. I'm excited to have a boy's name and not one of the girliest names in the world. So I will respond to both. Like I said, the name I think of myself as is Bear. So, you know, either which way, you know, firm answer, Bear, but, you know, honest answer, I don't care. I'll respond to both. As long as you don't call me Nikki, we're fine. I, you know, have spent the last 34 years of my life with an IE sound at the end of my first name, and I'm I'm sick of it. It sounds really girly. So as long as people don't call me Nikki, we're fine. So yeah, that's the biggest thing going on that I'm really excited about. And then, you know, just yesterday, I finally got word from my plastic surgeon's office about my top surgery. I had gone in early February for my consultation appointment, and that appointment went really well. And they said that they like to move forward fairly quickly, but the insurance holds everything up, and boy did it. They had projected it would be maybe 3 to 4 weeks waiting for insurance, and it actually turned out to be closer to 7 weeks. And so that was getting really agitating this week, just waiting for that and starting to have all these concerns and anxiety around, you know, is it being rejected? Is that why it's taking so long? You know, and long story short, after all that anxiety and follow-up with paperwork and phone calls, the insurance cleared this week. I got the phone call yesterday from the office and saying that the insurance cleared and it's time to move forward on setting a surgery date and taking care of the pre-op dates and so forth. So finally that has moved forward. I'm super excited about it. Yesterday I was so excited about it. It was hard to contain it. So I'm looking at having my top surgery in June, and just like with the name change stuff, now finally having a firm answer on that, I get to actually move forward. So it's really exciting to be out of that hurry up and wait phase. Now that I have an idea of dates, I can start to schedule time off of work, putting together a little bit of fundraising to make sure I get through the recovery time where I can't work without just going flat broke, and so forth, and all the real life logistical stuff about planning a surgery. So I'll talk about that more later. And last but not least, I wanted to go ahead and ask for feedback for next week's video. Next week's video I want to focus on fitness during transitioning, specifically female to male. A lot of people ask about it because testosterone puts you into that male puberty, and so it boosts your metabolism, which makes you hungry. A lot of people actually gain really bad weight when they start T. I have not. I've gained good weight. I've lost a lot of body fat. I'll give you the details next week. But I wanted to go ahead and ask people for any kind of questions that they have specifically about fitness during your transition, and specifically about testosterone. So hit me up with messages or comments if you have any questions about that. If not, that's cool. Once again, thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.